The silence in the luxury tech facility was not ordinary silence. It was the kind that weighs on people, the kind that makes even confident men doubt their own intelligence. A 4.8 million euro Bugatti hypercar sat in the center of the workshop like a sleeping king that refused to wake up. And for 3 weeks it hadn't moved an inch. 20 of the brightest automotive engineers in Europe had already tried everything, yet nothing worked. And then a single father who wasn't even supposed to be in that room walked in and changed everything in 5 minutes. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet heroes rising when the world stops believing in them, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Storyhouse. Your support keeps these stories alive for hearts that still believe in miracles hidden in ordinary people. It was a bright morning in Munich, where glass buildings reflected a soft golden sun, and the streets buzzed with the rhythm of progress. Inside the headquarters of Veronic Automotive Innovations, tension had replaced innovation. The CEO, Adrian Veron, known for his sharp mind and colder reputation, stood motionless in front of the immobilized Bugatti prototype named Nocturne. It was his personal masterpiece, a vehicle designed to redefine speed itself, but it had betrayed him in front of investors, engineers, and cameras. No one could start it, not the software team, not the mechanical division, not even the external consultants flown in from Italy and Japan. Every system check returned the same cryptic fault loop, an internal handshake failure between the ignition control module and the biometric security kernel. A problem so rare most engineers had only read about it in theoretical simulations. Adrian had grown quieter each day. Investors had started whispering, rival companies were circling like vultures, and inside the building, even confidence itself felt mechanical and broken. Among the maintenance staff hired temporarily for facility upkeep was a man named Ramikor. He was not an engineer, not a technician in the corporate sense. He wore a simple uniform, carried a worn-out toolkit, and spent most of his time repairing small facility issues nobody else noticed. A leaking pipe here, a faulty light sensor there, but behind his tired eyes was a man carrying a far heavier load than machines, a single father raising a 6-year-old boy named Ilas. Ramek had once been part of automotive engineering himself years ago in a smaller city workshop. Life, however, had not been kind. After losing his wife to illness and struggling through financial collapse, he stepped away from the world of advanced systems to survive. Simplicity became his survival, even if it meant hiding brilliance behind humility. That morning, while replacing a faulty floor sensor near the restricted workshop zone, he overheard frustration spilling through the glass doors. Engineers were arguing, systems were failing again, and somewhere inside, a machine worth millions was still silent. Curiosity, quiet and involuntary, pulled him closer. Through the reinforced glass he saw it, the Bugatti Nocturne. Sleek, powerful, lifeless, and he noticed something the engineers had overlooked, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they were trapped inside their own assumptions. The biometric scanner blinked inconsistently, not fully dead, not fully alive, like it was waiting for something, not technical, but human. Ramek didn't step in because he thought he could fix it. He stepped in because something about the pattern felt familiar. Not the car, not the system, but the rhythm of failure. It reminded him of an old diagnostic loop he had once repaired years ago in a prototype security vehicle. A loop caused not by broken hardware, but by a mismatched authentication handshake sequence triggered by a delayed voltage sync. Inside the workshop, tension peaked. Adrian Veron was preparing to suspend the project entirely. Engineers were exhausted, defeated by something that should not have defeated them. And then Ramek, still holding a cleaning cloth in one hand, quietly spoke up, not to challenge, not to interrupt, but to suggest something simple. The system might not be broken, just misaligned in its verification timing cycle. The room went silent. A maintenance worker, questioning a team of global experts. One engineer scoffed, another frowned, but Adrian, tired beyond pride, did something unexpected. He allowed it. Ramek stepped closer to the vehicle, not with arrogance, not with authority, with observation. He noticed the biometric scanner's micro-flash pattern. He noticed the ECU reset delay cycle. He noticed the key fob handshake lag by exactly 0.3 seconds after ignition trigger. Something so small it would normally be dismissed as noise. But to someone who had once lived inside machines rather than above them, it was not noise. It was language. Ramek gently requested a system reboot with manual override on the biometric sequence. The engineers hesitated but complied, expecting nothing. What followed was not dramatic. There were no sparks, no alarms, no cinematic explosions of light or sound, just correction. He adjusted a single timing parameter in the handshake synchronization loop, aligning the biometric authentication pulse with the ignition control module's voltage stabilization window. A fix so simple that it almost felt insulting to the complexity of the room. 5 minutes passed. The system blinked once, twice, and then the Bugatti Nocturne roared to life. The sound filled the entire workshop like thunder reclaiming its territory. It wasn't just a car starting. It was pride restarting. Engineers froze, some stepped back. Others stared as if they had just witnessed something impossible. Adrian Veyron didn't speak immediately. He simply watched the man in the maintenance uniform who had done what 20 engineers could not. For the first time in weeks, the machine was not silent, but Ramek wasn't celebrating. His mind had already drifted elsewhere. Back to his son, Ilaz, waiting after school with a small drawing of cars he wanted his father to fix one day. Back to rent unpaid, back to the invisible life of a man who had once been someone in the world of machines, now reduced to background existence. Adrian walked closer, studying him not as a worker, but as something far more unsettling, a reminder of overlooked brilliance. What followed changed everything. Ramek was not dismissed back to his duties. Instead, he was asked to stay. Engineers who once dismissed him began asking questions they had never considered before. The system logs were reviewed again, and everything he identified was confirmed. The error had been real, subtle, devastatingly simple, but Ramek declined praise. He asked only one thing, that no one judge people by what they wear or where they stand in a building. That evening, as the sun cast long golden shadows across Munich, Adrian Veyron stood alone beside the now functioning Bugatti. For the first time in years, his success felt smaller than his understanding, because sometimes the world does not lack intelligence. It lacks attention, and sometimes the person holding a mop understands machines better than the room full of experts. Not because he is smarter, but because life taught him to see what others refused to notice. That night, Ramek returned home to his son, tired but quiet in spirit. He did not mention what happened, not yet. He simply hugged Ilaz a little longer than usual and watched him sleep, thinking that maybe the world still had doors that opened for people like him. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to support it. Like, share, and engage with this video so more people can remember that true brilliance often comes in the most unexpected forms. And now, a special request. Please comment below what you think would have happened if Ramek had never stepped into that workshop that day. As the night settled, one truth lingered in the silence of that massive facility. Sometimes the most powerful engines are not fixed by genius, but by someone who never stopped paying attention to the world everyone else ignored. And that is how a single father solved a Euros 4.8 million euro Bugatti bug in just 5 minutes, while 20 engineers stood frozen, realizing that brilliance had been walking past them all along.